What's New 802? I'm Becca Hammond, and you're listening to Vermont Talks. Vermont Talks may include graphic or explicit content. Listener discretion is advised. On this week's episode, we're talking to Stephen OBrien. Stephen is running the Weston Cove. The Weston Cove is a new DIY venue located in Burlington, currently playing out of the Swan Dojo at 19 Church Street upstairs. Let's get to it. I'm here at the Swan Dojo with Stephen OBrien. Welcome, Stephen.
Hello.
So, do I call this venue the Swan Dojo, or do I call it the Weston Cove?
Well, the Weston Cove is just like a production and promotion entity. This is the Swan Dojo. It's where we're doing our thing right now, so figuring it out. I mean, who knows what'll happen in the future, but we're here for now.
Right. It's a good spot. So what's the address of this location?
This is 19 Church Street. It's upstairs.
Yes. It's very wide open. It's where they have dance classes and do all sorts of cool things.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool venue. It's an older building.
Yeah, it's been here for a long time. It's been a couple different things before it was the Swan Dojo, too. It was the Lab before, which was like a hip-hop production and like training place where they taught people how to make beats and stuff.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of different venues within, well, I should say businesses within this location. Yeah. But you're pretty much one of the first doors when you come up the stairs.
Well, there's all three of the first doors on this side are all lead into here, so it's the biggest thing. It's the biggest space up here, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, and it fits a lot of people. Do you know what the limit is on this space?
I believe it's 120.
That's pretty good.
But we usually try to keep it around like 100, just so we're not, pushing our luck.
Right, and leave some breathing room.
Yeah, it does get hot up here.
Yes, it definitely gets a little warm. So if you're coming for a summer show, wear some light clothing.
Yeah. Hey, well, that's part of the fun, get sweaty, bump into some people, have some fun.
Yeah, moshing. So I was able to come to the show. The Path did, Old North End, Agra. Yeah. That was so cool. That was the first time I heard of that band, and they were amazing.
Yeah.
Missing Somebody, Gone Wrong was here. There was a couple other bands, too.
Voidbringer. Their other band is playing here tonight, actually. Sawsham Doom.
Cool.
It's like the same guys, but doing different kind of music.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that was an epic show. The energy in this place that night was just
pretty wild.
It was attracting people off the street who clearly didn't know where they were going, it seemed like.
It's like people that don't listen to hardcore music were like in the pit getting hit, and they were having a great time. So it's like that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
Introducing people to alternative culture and stuff like that. It's,
Right. And
people don't know they're into that until they experience it. You can hear metal and like hardcore and stuff on a record or on YouTube or whatever, but it's not the same as like being at one of those shows around that energy.
Very true. And you feed off of it. The crowd just had the buzz to it and I don't mean drunk, I mean like that energy. I mean like they're pumped. Everyone was so ready to just jump in the pit and get fisted in the face on accident.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like with the DIY culture in Burlington, the community that we have and stuff, people don't come to these shows to get like wrecked and, just come here to party and get drunk and stuff. They come here to see the music and have a good time. So people have a couple beers and stuff, but they're just trying to have a good time, not stand in the corner and drink liquor or something like that. It's pretty great.
Yes. Yeah, it's not like a bar scene where that's the whole point, is to just drink.
Yeah, I mean, that's another really cool thing about this place, too, is that it's BYOB and stuff like that, Obviously, we have our limits since it's the cabaret, so we can't have hard alcohol in the space, but people can bring beer and wine and stuff like that, and that's pretty cool,
Right. As long as they
come
respect.
On a Church Street, see 5 bands for $5, have a couple beers, whatever. It's nice.
Yeah, for sure. Just respect the venue, guys.
Yeah.
Always respect the venue, because it gets taken away if you don't respect the venue. So there's always that matter of keep people, aware of the rules.
Yeah. That's why we have people working the door and walking around, and you don't go outside with drinks and stuff like that. That's the main rule around here. Got to make sure we can keep this place going, because there's in town right now, there's really no other venues that are like booking hardcore and punk rock and stuff like that. It's, for a long time it's been jam bands, Grateful Dead cover bands, and that kind of shit.
Yeah, a lot of
isn't bad, but
stuff.
I'm just kind of like tired of it. I want to experience like the real shit that we have in town right now, like the stuff that people are interested in, the new things coming out of our music scene and stuff. So
it's amazing, the metal scene in Burlington. There's so many good friggin' bands. Like, I love Old North End. I love The Path. I love, I saw Winooski Anvil Company's coming.
Yeah.
I love Winooski Anvil Company. They're like one of the greatest. Not only do they have a great name, but I love their sound too.
Yeah.
They all have such different genres of metal that they fall into. But, and I think the funniest thing, people who don't come to these shows don't understand that bands like The Path are preaching love.
Yeah.
And then they play music that sounds like they do, which I think kind of shocks people sometimes. If you have no idea what the heavy scene's about, you don't realize it's all about like loving each other and just having a good time. And it's not like some weird satanic cult. It's more about community, and we all enjoy this together, and it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't get from any other musical subculture as much as I do from the hardcore scene.
Yeah.
Hardcore is all peace and love. They terrify you in your ears.
well, the thing is a lot of other scenes like preach peace and love and shit like that, but they're not about it. And then we don't like go out of our way to, act or seem outwardly like we're those people, but you're around those people and you can just know. That's how you know they're not bullshitting, because they don't have to put it in your face like peace and love, man. I'm wearing a tie-dye t-shirt, like, this kind of shit or whatever. I mean, I wear tie-dye t-shirts, but whatever.
I totally know what you mean, though. There's a certain jam band thing about we're all about the peace and the love, but they're all about conformity. And when you really get down to the metal scenes, like, we're down with whatever you want to be as long as you're down with us.
I mean, that's my main goal with here is like, I'm not, and I'm booking other kind of stuff that's not like heavy music and shit, but I just want to have a place that's like people can go to and just feel like they can be themselves. Like you don't have to like hide. Like if you're, you don't have to act a certain way. Like if you're going to like a certain bar that has like a certain vibe, you can just. Which
is totally a thing in town.
That's what I was saying. Like you can just do, just come up here and fucking kick it and wear whatever you want, act however you want. Nobody's gonna fuck with you, and if they do, we'll handle it. Don't worry about it.
Right. Which I appreciate, because there's always. I love metal scenes so much, but there always seems to be the one dude in the pit that's just out to punch someone in the face.
Yeah, that and just shows in general. Like, you never know who's going to pop up. You just got to keep your eyes open. Like, there's creepy people out there. There's people that are looking for fights. There's people that are just looking to come get super drunk and stuff like that. And those are the type of people that'll ruin it for everyone. Like, all these people are trying to have a good time, and one person out of 100 can make all those people's nights shitty, so...
Yeah,
that's why
totally.
we got to watch out for those people. I mean, that's how 242 was. Like, you could be whoever you want when you went there. Same with Oddfellows. Like, those places you could just, go there and have a great time and not have to worry really about people fucking with you. Oddfellows not as much, but 242 especially. And like, ever since those places have closed, like, we haven't had a place like that, like where you can just like not deal with the bullshit. There's like all the clickiness of Burlington and
there's gatekeeping.
Yeah,
there's weird
all
stuff
that shit
going on.
Like
very
leave that shit at the
judgmental.
door. We don't care about that. I don't care if you're a local, if you're from another city, another state. Like, I don't give a shit about any of that. I don't care about the drama you have with other people that are here. Don't bring it in here. I don't care.
Right. Just don't come here to
None
make
of us
scene.
care.
Don't make a ruckus. Only a good ruckus.
Yeah.
It's one thing when you're just enjoying yourself and having a good time. It's quite another when it's not. And you can tell when it's not pretty easily. When the people in the pit are doing this every time you come near them because you're fucking throwing haymakers left and right for no fucking reason. Like, there's a certain line where, dancing expression just becomes like you're just punching to see if you can hit someone.
Yeah.
Like, just stop it. Don't be a douche. And I love mosh pits. I'm so down with mosh pits, but I've gotten scared of them the older I've gotten because I've been hit with enough of those haymakers, and I'm like, I'm not getting hit by another 6'5" guy in the face. Well,
it's also small in here too, so it's like hard to get away from the pit. So we can't be too violent with it. You know, it's not like at higher ground where there's a shitload of space and we can all. If you can go all the way to the other side of the ballroom, if there's like a crazy pit going on, we're all in this one room. We got to respect all the people around us, like,
right?
You know.
One of the first things I learned when I was like 14 at my first metal show, you see someone go down, you pick them up.
Yeah.
So your intention should not be to put people on the floor if the first rule of the pit is to pick people up.
Yeah.
Like, just be nice to each other. That's all. Just be good vibes, you know? And good vibes can be screaming metal. Just be nice to each other, though. No, I totally appreciate what you're doing, because there has been alarming gatekeeping in the venues of this area. I think Arts Riot broke a lot of hearts the way that scene went down.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know that whole story, but bought Arts Riot intentionally to stop playing music there. So DIY venues fucking carry that torch because they're shutting them down.
Yeah. Wants like a monopoly on the local music, and they did. It's like nobody. It's like once every 6 months they have a good show.
Exactly. And a lot of the time, the outdoor shows that they somehow manage to gatekeep kill me. They're horrible. They price gouge like I've never seen in my life. And my understanding is that's illegal. So I don't understand how they can dump children's water bottles and then force those kids to wait in line 45 minutes for water. That's some crazy stuff, especially when the cheapest thing you can buy to drink is over $6. Like, that seems like extortion to me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the basis of like a scene that really cares about the music is like $5 shows, and the bands want to be there. Like, you know, a lot of times, like bigger venues, you know, they pay a lot of money to book these bands. And that's why they charge this, like, ridiculous amount of money and do all this extra shit. And it's like, if you just, you know, if you run your business properly and you stay within, like, your, you know, your limits and stuff like that, don't overexert yourself and put yourself in jeopardy, and bands actually want to play for you, then you should be fine, you know? Like,
right, there's
when I first started this, I was doing it for free. I was doing that until, you know, now I'm able to make money, and I'm going to be, you know, paying all the bands that play here. But if you have a good scene and you know that people are going to have a good crowd, so, you know, a crowd of 100 people that's like, you know, really good energy, and all those people like really want to be there, and they don't feel like they like have to go because they spent, you know, $40 or something like that.
Right, 6 months ago before the tickets sold out.
Yeah, and then, you know, that 100-person crowd is going to be like, it's going to be better than like a 500-person crowd where like half of those people are bored, you know what I mean?
Right, bad energy.
Yeah, like I've been to so many shows where it's like there's a lot of people there, yeah, but a lot of them are just bored. And they're like, well, I spent $30, so I have to stay.
Oh, and it makes the concert itself, when people's energy is down, the bands play off that. So when you come in a venue, and everyone knows what I'm talking about, it's a weird thing to describe, but when you walk in a venue and it's buzzing, that weird feeling, like everyone just can't wait, the anticipation's building. The bands so feed off that. That leads to a great show. That makes them feel good. That makes you feel good. The whole energy is just this addicting. I love it. Anyone who goes to concerts and enjoys that knows what I'm talking about. And you're totally right. There are a lot of concerts I've been to where it's a lot of people standing around with a beer. No one's moving. And the band on stage is like clearly uncomfortable because no one cares that they're playing. Like, it's a very weird... it's whose fault? I don't know whose fault that is. I kind of think it's the venue in some ways. Like, they didn't pump these guys up. These guys don't care. It leads to bad shows. And then when you get home at the end of the night, you're like, will I go see them again?
Yeah.
When you go to a show that's fucking pumping, though. Like, you're going to come back. So if it's 100 people coming to this venue and everyone had a great time, you just made 100 new fans.
Yeah. I mean, that's been the goal. Like, that's my number one goal is that I want everybody that comes here to have a good time. Like, I tell everybody that I'm not in this for money. Like, I don't care if I make money or not. I care that I'm able to give the bands money and that everyone has a good time and that, you know, I was able to see live music. Like, you know, it's always been just about, you know, bringing more attention and stuff onto the scene that we have here because through the pandemic, all but like one of the DIY venues closed, and it's like, who knows what's really going to be going on with gyms now. I mean, it's open again, but who knows? And it was scary for a minute, so I was like, fuck, I got to do something.
Right. I love the idea of keeping the 242 vibe. Like,
yeah. I mean, I grew up going to shows there from the time I was like 12 years old. I was going to shows at 242 like all the time. My, you know, uncles were all in bands that were, you know, played there back in the 80s and the 90s and stuff. And just, I don't know. I always really liked the vibe there. And
I think it hurt a lot of people in the community that venue closed. Because everyone seems to have these stories of going there when they're young. Just the feel of it. The other people's stories they've heard about how much it means to everyone. That's an incredibly beloved place. Of all the places in Burlington, no one seems to give a damn about anywhere as much as 242. I'm sure some people would argue the Flynn or something like that, but at least in our generation, people, I'm
Club Toast back in the 90s was really sick.
I've heard about that place. I never witnessed it or experienced it, but when I bring up 242, people mention that place.
That was like a hardcore hotspot back in the day.
Where was that located?
It was like where like Einstein's is.
Okay.
Like upstairs there.
Right.
Pretty sure that's where it was.
Nice. Upstairs venues are cool.
Yeah.
Especially this
sucks for loading in, but other than that, it's not too bad.
We need to get you guys a skid or something.
Yeah.
So slide it up the stairs.
Dumbwaiter.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely I don't know. That almost makes the music better when you suffer to get there.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Is like we did that. Well, you know, Raph and Hudson did that skate park show the other day, and then it rained on us. So, you know,
downer.
I ended up hitting them up here. I was like, hey, I know I didn't have the schedule today, but could I just like come over?
Right. Nice.
So we came over here, and then everyone lugged their stuff up, and I was like, yeah, you guys can play like 45 minutes to an hour now instead of 25 minutes if you want. Since we brought all the shit up here, we might as well, you know?
Right. That's great. That's great you were able to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that show was happening.
That went pretty great. That's what I think is like so great about this place, is because even though that was like not planned, I didn't have any of my staff here or anything, and we came here and it still went really well. We had like 60 people here.
Oh, nice.
Impromptu.
That's a good turnout. Yeah.
Like, nobody knew it was going to be here. We came here, and then like an hour later started the show back up, and then a bunch of people were here. So people want to come here. That's the thing. And if we just keep treating this place right and like doing it right, and you know, Lois Trombley is the owner of this place, and she's amazing. And
thank you, Lois.
I'm just like, I don't want to mess it up.
Right.
I don't want anybody else to mess it up either, so.
There's something incredibly special about this location.
We're on Church Street. Like, you can't really ask for anything better than that. Like, there hasn't been an alternative venue downtown in like 10 years.
Right, because 242 would have been the closest probably.
Yeah, that was like the last one.
And there's something really special about hearing metal playing while you're walking down Church Street on a weekend night. I was like, I got so excited. I'm like, I can hear it. We're getting closer. Like, this is what Vermont.
Jazz or something like that.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, I love jazz, but when I know there's probably 6 dozen metal bands in this state and we're so underrepresented, I want to hear metal when I walk down Church Street. And
yeah.
it's crazy how the shows sell out too. And I'm not just talking metal, like punk shows in this area.
Yeah.
And like folk punk alternative. Just
people just like that kind of stuff around here. Like, it's always been that way. If you look at the live music scene in the 80s and 90s in Burlington, the stuff that was the most popular was like hardcore, punk rock, shoegaze, stuff like that, like heavy music. It resonates with the environment around here, the weather, all that stuff. It's like we don't have sun and beaches and all this shit. Like, we don't need, surf jam bands and stuff. Like, I mean, that stuff's great, but the reason there's so many fans of alternative music around here is because of the way that is around here. 6 months out of the year, it's friggin' gray and snow outside and depressing.
right.
And that's why people want to freaking scream and hit each other.
Yeah. And there's a certain like mental resilience that comes with living through crap over and over and over again. And metal is an amazing outlet for that.
Yeah.
Which we all relate to it. A lot of us who like metal immediately relate to this stuff. And like at a really deep level too. It's not just like, oh, it sounds good. Like, this means something to me. It means something to a lot of people who come out to these shows. I've seen people that I didn't expect to sell out shows, people I never would have thought that resonated with everyone else here. Because I got to see Andrew Jackson Jihad came through.
Yeah.
It sold out almost instantly. And walking into the venue, I was like, these are all my people. Like, everyone knew all the songs. And the general vibe was just so strong. But it's one of, like, AJJ is popular within that weird subculture, and when I tell people about that band who aren't within that subculture, no one knows what I'm talking about, but they still sell out shows in Burlington, which is always great. Another one who came through, which still blows my mind, is that Mark Riboulet, who he became popular on YouTube.
The bass player and the drummer from my band, they have another project called Dumb Bass, and they opened for that show, actually.
That's awesome. I probably got to see them.
Yeah.
That was one of these weird, because he came through and now he's already so famous. I'm sure he's not, I saw he wasn't putting Burlington on his next tour, which doesn't really surprise me. But he's so weird and just one of these oddball guys that I saw that he was coming to Higher Ground. I'm like, sweet, I'm going to go check this out with a couple of friends. It sold out, and the people at that show were just the weirdest, like, such a flux between, like, I don't know, like, we were talking about the surfy type people. Yeah. The surfy, hippie type, love people.
Well, there's a lot of, like, there's a lot of, like, weird, when you listen to, like, the local bands of, like, people that, the younger people here that live here and make music, like, a lot of it is weird, bands like Pawns and Greaseface and stuff like that who make, like, wonky stuff. Like, people like weird and random and wacky shit around here.
Pawns is amazing.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're playing tonight, the Backside 405 Higher Ground thing.
Nice.
I mean, if it doesn't rain, but we'll see. And
Fingers
Pawns
crossed.
is coming here. My band, Pawns, Greaseface, and Community Garden are playing here on August 20th. So that should be a pretty cool show.
Nice. Awesome. I love Pawns. They're one of the funniest. I forget what their other band's name is, because half those kids are in a different band.
Boys Cruise,
both of those. They're all, they're the most entertaining kids to watch, and it was just so unexpected. Like, not what I thought I was gonna see when I showed up. But then they made a fan for life, instantly. Which, like you said, we just like weird stuff here, and weird stuff doesn't fit into gentrified. Certain look environments.
Yeah, the image that Burlington tries to project for itself is so much different than the actual people that live here. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm not a fucking maple syrup drinking tie-dye t-shirt Carhartt pants guy that, like, saws logs. No, I fucking ride a motorcycle and wipe asses on the daily for my job. And I don't have a great time because there's snow all the fucking time here. And I'm cold. And I'm pissed off. And I just want to drink an iced coffee.
That's such a good description of people in this area. We just want to fucking chill. Like, let's just calm down. man. Listen to some good fucking music.
Because the city depends so much on tourism that we have to like create this like granola kind of idea about what people in Burlington are. I mean, obviously we do have that like subculture here. There's like this super granola yuppie whiteys that walk around, but
yes,
I feel like the majority of people that I meet around here are not like that. Like people are just like very like I've traveled a lot. I've been to like 32 states, met, thousands of people, and people here are just like are weird.
We're pretty down to earth.
Yeah.
For other people, maybe.
But there's also the thing where like people here are like super cliquey and hold grudges and stuff like that, and it's like that's another there's all that bullshit.
I feel like it's hard to explain because I see that too, but I feel like it's outside pressures. Like we want to be something we saw on the internet, or we want to be the super gentrified, beautiful, fancy plate food place that has jazz playing in the background and a fire pit outside, and just that overly gentrified thing that it sells. You can make a lot of money to tourists selling that crap. But those of us who live here, most of us can't afford it. Like, they don't make those gentrified places for you and I. They make those for the tourists to come in and feel like, we're in Vermont.
The French Canadians come down here,
Oh, yeah, people from all over come here. I'm amazed how many people have, like, a second apartment in Burlington. Yeah. That's a definite subculture.
Lots of celebrities have, like, secret houses out here.
Yes.
I was riding my motorcycle one day and I accidentally drove up to, I guess it's like Michael Myers' summer home or something that. And I was like, what is this huge mansion? And somebody saw me from the window and I was like, dipping. I'm out of here.
Right.
And then later on, my mom was like, oh yeah, that's Michael Myers' house.
Oh yeah, it's crazy how many of them are up around this area. And the pandemic I'm personally annoyed with a few of these celebrities that literally did interviews like escaping the pandemic by going to Vermont. And it was in like People magazine on the cover of their fucking website. Like, we're all going to move to Vermont to live out the pandemic. And they had pictures of, the mountains from some field. And it's like, this is great and all because we can't afford fucking houses as it is. And lo and behold, a year after that, our housing market's absolutely freaking gone crazy.
It's like 1% vacancy or something.
Oh, yeah, that was like a year ago. Yeah, now it's insane.
Yeah.
And it's happening everywhere.
The people that live here year round and have lived here for, 20, 40 years, like, can barely afford it here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you make minimum wage and you want to live in Burlington, you've got 6 friggin' roommates. Like, good luck ever buying something.
Yeah.
Like, that's what kind of kills me is this area. We have loads of super creative people, especially right in this hub, right where I'm talking about, right near Church Street. We have really creative, cool people that make Vermont what it is. Like, they are the Vermont weird.
And those are the ones that can't afford to live here.
They're the ones getting driven out because every apartment is $1,500 now for a 1-bedroom that's like decrepit, like the absolute trash now that they're selling. It's really sad because how are we all going to conglomerate and communicate and make music together when we all get shoved out into the boonies? And even though, like, you can't afford to live in the boonies anymore.
And with how expensive it is over here, everybody has to work so much more, which that seriously affects being able to be creative too. Because, like, when you're working 5 or 6 days a week, like, when can you find time for band practice, Like,
right.
Everybody has to have the same day off. Like, when does that happen?
Oh, and just finding a place to play music in the city.
The cops won't get called on you. It's like, it's 4 PM and I'm playing music with my band. Like, you're good. Yeah. It's ridiculous, the noise ordinance in Burlington. It's honestly, like, it's so ridiculous.
Gatekeeping.
It's like 24-hour noise ordinance. I can't I can't play music in the afternoon. You know, I can get a $300 fine for, you know, playing drums in my yard in the afternoon.
Right. Where the hell's the freedom in that?
Yeah. Like what? It just, I don't know. Burlington does like everything they can to keep people from having fun.
Yeah, well, and keep the power in the people's hands they want it in is one of the things that kills me, because I've talked to several bands that talked about wanting to do shows on the waterfront, and they all got the finger from the city, like, no way in hell are you playing on the waterfront, but for some reason can, with certain band that will not be named that promotes that love peace bullshit and then has gatekeeping left and right in terms of their culture.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're allowed to play on the waterfront and charge you $60 to walk in and say dump your toddler's water. That's okay. But when any other band,
when a couple people who have their own equipment want to just roll up in some cars and set up some gear and not cost the city any money at all.
Right, and not charge people for it, like free shows they've been denying.
Like, I can't, next they're going to say you can't play an acoustic guitar in a park. Like,
right.
I would not be surprised if a cop came up to you and was like, do you have a permit to play that acoustic guitar in this park?
Right. Oh yeah, I know their default is anything amplified you're not allowed to do. They have some weird, you can skirt around some shit in this area, though.
It's ridiculous,
It's upsetting.
You shouldn't have to jump through hoops to play music.
No, especially not on somewhere like the waterfront. Put on a free show. Like, what the hell kind of gatekeeping is that? How much does that cost the city for you to show up? Like you said, you're bringing all your own equipment.
We're going to produce it all. We're not impeding anything.
Right. It's just that you don't have enough money. Like, what? I honestly don't understand what it is that they need, because I've heard they've tried to get permits. They get denied permits. Like, what the fuck do you want from people? They fill out the paperwork, they give you the money, and you deny them. What the hell's that about? That seems like some gatekeeping gentrification fucking bullshit to me, because venues like this should be able to play on the waterfront. Kind of pissed off about the general culture.
Trying to like steal that market, because they got the arts riot, they stopped doing music there, and now they're doing outdoor music across the street.
Exactly.
Like, it's pretty transparent.
Right. They just want to own the music scene.
And they're opening their new freaking huge thing over by Red Rocks or whatever, and
yeah, I'm real curious about how that's going to work.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because that started at the beginning of the pandemic, and then during the pandemic, it got real hush-hush.
Yeah.
Which, I've seen what's happened across the waterfront in the last couple of years. It's fucking, they're paving paradise and putting up parking lots left and right.
Yeah.
And somehow free beaches that were always public have $25 a month day.
I had to pay fucking $6 to go into North Beach yesterday.
What?
North Beach? It's disgusting down there. Let me go in for free. Come on.
That's like the cesspool kind of.
That's like the only reason I'm paying this is because my friend that's going back to Hawaii tomorrow is here. Fuck you.
Right. Oh, that sucks. $6.
$6 is ridiculous. Who's gonna pay $6 to go to? Come on.
Yeah. See,
just go to Bolton for free.
We gotta keep these places alive. We gotta keep the heart and soul of what it means to be a fucking, like, living, breathing entity.
Well, it's like, it's getting to the point where there's, like, nothing to do in town if you don't have, like, a good amount of money in your pocket.
Right, and what the hell is that about? None of us have a good amount of money in our pocket. That's what kind of pisses me off, is Vermont is not paying anyone enough for the prices that have now started to become totally common. Like, who are you selling to?
Yeah.
Like, you're not selling to people who live here. You're not selling to the general public. Like, who the hell are you targeting? And that's got to be a limited market. That's what kind of kills me. Like, if you're cutting out, 75% of Vermonters aren't our market. Like, what the hell? Like, how can you even sustain that for a long period of time, especially since a lot of these venues, I'm sure, are paying their people less than they should be, who are the Vermonters who couldn't afford to go there. Yeah, there's a lot of gentrification bullshit going on in this area, so I strongly appreciate seeing new venues pop up. Gotta support them. Same with the restaurant, same with every other little business that's not owned by some other business in town.
Well, I mean, we're gonna, the thing with the Weston, it just started. So we're gonna be branching off doing other stuff. Like, we're gonna start, making zines.
Yes. That's
doing
awesome.
Fundraising events and, skate videos.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about the zine idea. I've always thought Burlington should have something like that. That's going to be friggin' cool.
Independently produced. We'll probably, make it here.
Yeah, let me know when that comes out. If you want to promote that, come back on. We'll talk all about it, because we can make a whole episode just on that. Those are so cool. And they're like dying, too. Yeah. That's one of those things you don't hear about anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like people are more likely to value information that they get from something tangible other than, reading a post on Facebook when they read, 1,000 of those a day. If they have a zine in their hand and it has like the next month's show schedules and all that kind of stuff in it, they're like, oh, this is a cool thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Something tangible. I think, so I'm almost 30. I'll date myself. I'm almost 30, getting there. And when I look back at my musical history, I get kind of sad because my parents still have their albums from the 70s. I don't have shit from my high school. All the CDs broke. You know, like none of that was worth saving. So buying albums now, I'm like, holding it in my hands. Like, look at the art in this. This is so cool. Like looking at the vinyl, like, something about tangible, like holding
real stuff.
Something, especially from a band that means something to you. Like, it's a real feeling. Like, I own this.
We're also, starting tonight, actually, we're going to be recording the shows.
Nice.
And, releasing to the bands first for what they want to do with it, but releasing all the live audio.
Awesome. How are you setting that up?
Well, it's going to be pretty simple at first. Just get a couple room mics, 58 mic for the drums, one for the kick, one for the snare.
Nice, cool. So you're serious about it. You're not just going to drop like a mic in the middle of the room and say, "Hey, that's your recording."
And then we'll just have the mic, like the vocal mics, DI'd.
Nice.
So it should be.
It's
going to be pretty straightforward. I mean, it's still low key. It's not going to sound like you're in a studio or anything. It's going to sound like a live recording, but
hey,
when's the last time you played a DIY show where it was recorded for you,
Right. And these shows can be such a magic too, and in 10 years, like that recording can be so special.
That's what I'm saying, and sorry. There's so many bands around right now that I feel like have like amazing potential. And anything that helps get their music out there more, like a recording that can be put out there of a live performance, to add to their discography or something, so more people can hear their music. It's just so valuable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And taking the time to make content, it's a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
If you've never done it before, it's a lot of work making content. And you're already doing so much work getting the venue set up, scheduling everything. Like, you're doing a huge amount of work getting this together.
A fucking lot.
So
I'm doing it all.
Do you have internet here by any chance? I'm just curious.
At the dojo, I know there is. I don't have the password though. I just haven't asked for the password.
I was just thinking it would be really cool to just throw up like a GoPro and set it to live stream. Like, I know it won't make you, you're not going to get the $5 off people, but like you said, that content just building up that base is so valuable for people. And it's amazing what people do go back and watch.
Yeah.
Like, some of the coolest footage ever will always be from Woodstock. Just random people's, like documenting life. So that kind of thing. And you might be able to just leave it up there too and not just push a button.
And it's also like, who knows what's going to happen in the future. So having it documented is like, as soon as we can start documenting all of this as we can, I feel like is, you know, unmeasurably valuable, because, you know, if this evolves into something where, you know, the Weston does have their own place one day, and we have all this footage of it like growing and building and all these bands and everything, it's like really good way to, you know, have a historical record of this to show people. And
right.
When these bands like that, you know, some of these bands will break up, and then 30 years down the line, they're like, yeah, I had a band in 2021 and fucking cool. They're telling their kid about it, and then they put it on the live recording from here because it's like the only thing they have or something.
It's very true, and it very well could be, because so many bands evolve and people switch, change. And we live in such a blessed age. I know our age is fucked up. A lot of people are real down, but like trying to keep it positive, like we have the ability to change the world at our fingertips, which no generation before us could literally reach the world.
Well,
like
the thing
pull
is
their phone out of their pocket.
Like when we're 60 years old, we're gonna idolize this time. We act like we hate it now, but it's gonna be what we're nostalgic about when we're older. So
yeah, definitely. It's gonna be good too if we can fucking fix everything wrong with this world. I keep telling people that. I'm mad at Bo Burnham right now. I'm going on a rant. I'm sorry. This is totally unrelated. I'm super mad at Bo, though, because I know his special was very heartfelt to him. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Yeah, I saw it.
And Bo is one of these people who's so goddamn smart. He really is. He's incredibly goddamn smart. But instead of projecting hope and positivity, he decided to tell the whole world it's ending. It's all over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, kind of like, fuck you, Bo, because it's not over. And he had the power to tell millions of people something positive, and instead he put a negative spin on it. It's like, yes, we have shit tons of problems.
I think dude's just hell depressed.
Oh, yeah, and he is totally valid in that. I'm not saying that his art shouldn't express what he's feeling.
I don't know.
I love
Didn't do
Bo,
it for me.
Yeah, that was it. Didn't do it for me either, because I wanted him to end it on a high note, and he ended it with like, it's the end of the world.
It just felt like a compilation of TikTok songs.
Well, it kind of was.
Yeah.
In many ways, and I understand too that that's, you know, he was told to make a special at a time where he was really mentally not doing well. But like, that's his livelihood at the same time, and it's super emotional. I respect the hell out of him. I just wish that he'd said, you know what? My millions of followers, all the millennials that are turning 30, because, you know, he's in our generation. I watched him sing Bo Yo when I was in middle school. Like, come on, Bo. We can all fix this. Especially, there's so many of us, and we all generally kind of feel the same way. I have this attitude that most of us, especially in this area, we want to fix the world. Like, don't be all down.
People want to feel good. Like, yeah, we're all sad, but we want to feel good. Nobody wants to be depressed. Nobody wants to be sad. So why do we feed into it? Let's be fucking just chill and have a good time.
Right. And those vibes, it's just like walking to a concert. When you walk in the concert and no one's into it, it's sad and it's sucky. And right now I feel like across the whole planet, a lot, like, and understandably, the pandemic sucked. Climate change sucks. All these things suck. But, you know, we can fix these things. These things aren't unfixable. Like, there's direct things you can do to make the world a better place. And instead of just stewing in the sadness and being like, everything sucks, we can all be like, it's getting better.
Yeah.
Like, we as a collective entity, that vibe that we all have and we give off. Like, I'm trying to be more positive. I'm trying to say, we're going to fix it. We have all these weird problems in this area, but, you know, we're fixing them. This project is positive. This is fixing a problem that needs to be fixed and talked about in a good way.
Definitely.
Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up here, but I want to end it on a good note. Like I said, this is awesome. Everyone should come check out the Weston Cove at the Swan Dojo, 19 Church Street, upstairs. $5 a show. Donations. Pretty sure you could donate more and no one would stop you.
Yeah. Do whatever you want.
Is it typically Friday and Saturday nights?
Yeah, it depends. It alternates. So, July 2nd, that's a Friday. And then there's, July 10th, that's Saturday. Then, I can't even remember right now. There's so many things.
You have so many shows.
There's so many
booked.
things going on. Let me just look at this real quick, just so I can run through the next couple of shows. Yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff. Not just heavy music, like all different kinds of stuff.
I saw you there was a hip hop concert, right?
Yeah, that's still in the process of being figured out, but we're getting close to it. Yeah, July 2nd, Sus, Friday Life, Lily Seabird, Derry Bay, Bishop LeVay. July 10th, we got an electronic show, rave kind of night. Friday, July 6th, Shore Rights, Gender Club, Beneath Black Waves and Jess, some like indie little goth music there. July 30th, that's like an emo and like heavy night.
Nice.
And that's what we got for July. Then there's a bunch of stuff in August and September coming up too, so definitely.
Nice.
Check that stuff out.
And there's a full calendar of events on Facebook, the Weston Cove's Facebook page. If you want to check those out, mark them on your calendar from there. You also have an Instagram page too, right?
Yeah, the Weston Cove Instagram page.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And probably, maybe eventually, a YouTube channel to go with all of this.
Probably. Once we start getting... I'm trying to find the right person to be a videographer and buy them a camera to use and stuff like that. So we're just trying to figure that out.
Nice.
But I mean, with the video thing, I kind of want to be more like going around and talking to people and stuff like that, getting interviews with people and stuff.
I so want to do interviews. The pandemic hit, I got 6 months into the podcast and the pandemic hit, and that was my plan. I wanted to come to DIY shows, like, hey, what do you think of the show?
Even a person with like a chest GoPro and a field recorder.
Right, right. Okay, thank you so much, Stephen, for coming on the show. Everybody check out the Weston Cove online. Come watch some DIY shows, please.
Yes, thank you for having me. Glad to be on.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Stephen, and thank you, listeners, for listening to the end of the episode. I hope it was a good one. Please check out the show notes at vermonttalks.com/26. Go onto Facebook and check out the Weston Cove. You will find Stephen's page. And go check out some DIY shows. They're really awesome. 19 Church Street upstairs. That's what was new in the 802. Have a great one. The Vermont Talks show music was created by Jason Baker. Thank you so much, Jason, for making the music. You can check out his website at jbakervt.com.